How do you not feel insecure about liking spicy-ish romance books? What books would you recommend to get out of a 2-year book slump? Top 5 book boyfriends. Oh my gosh. Hello, book besties. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Delaney if you are new here, and today I'm going to be answering your questions for anything and everything book related. So I posted on my Instagram. I will put my Instagram at here in case you don't follow me, because I post a lot of like fun things on there that also like correlate to TikTok or YouTube videos. So if you want to participate in the bookish fun, I'll put my username right here. But I posted on my stories yesterday asking you to ask me all of your bookish questions, and we're gonna go through and answer pretty much all of them. I haven't fully gone through and looked, so that's why I say pretty much all of them, because sometimes I get some unhinged responses. But we're gonna see what you guys want to know. And wait, how do I see it if it's like gone? I'm literally a social media content creator and I don't even know how to work the apps. Okay, so I got quite a few responses here. We're gonna go through and answer these as I see them. Okay, so the first one is from Christy Ann, and she said, the book you recommend to everyone when they say they're trying to get into reading. I think this depends on a couple of things. My go-to book recommendation, if I were to just like see someone and know nothing about them, I used to always say it would be Small Great Things by Jodi Picoult. Now I think I would probably recommend The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, but I also am very aware that those are like heavier books. So totally dependent on the person. If I know they're a romance reader, I'm sending them into the Windy City series or Chestnut Springs. You know, I think I'm gonna say Chestnut Springs. I think I would send them in there and I would tell them, if you don't like the first book, please stick it out, because I also didn't like the first book. Flawless is my least favorite book in that series. But I think literally anyone, if they were to read Heartless, book 2 in that series, they are now a reader. You know, like you can't read that book and not be like, oh my gosh, I love reading. But if they're anti-romance or anything like that, I think Kristen Hanna and Jodi Picoult are go-to authors, and I would choose Small Great Things and probably The Nightingale. And then I got a question, do you prefer reading on Kindle or a physical copy, and which do you think you read faster? So I definitely read faster on Kindle. It's like when you're driving and you like put something into your GPS and it says arrival time is like 3:05 and you're like, okay, it's gonna be 3. Like now I have to beat the time. That's how I feel about like the time left in the chapter at the bottom of the Kindle. Like if I click to that and it says like 11 minutes left in the chapter, I'm like, okay, bet. Like now we're locked in. Now we're speed reading. I don't know why. I read so much faster on a Kindle, but I do get in phases where I'm like, I want a book in my hands. Like I love physical copies. I love books. Just like, it depends on my mood. If I'm reading in bed, it is almost always Kindle, because it's just more comfortable. I have the little Kindle, it's right here actually. I have the little Kindle stand and the remote control clicker, so I'll like set this up in bed and I don't even have to like move at all. It's so comfortable. The best reading position. But I do have moments where I'm like, I need a book in my hands, you know? Then I got a question, what are some books you like to read to get out of a slump? If I'm in a slump, I'm going for a standalone romance or a thriller. Those are my 2 things that I'm going for, because I need something quick. I need something easier to read. I need something that is almost mindless, where like you don't have to feel like a critical thinker while you're reading. Frida McFadden is my go-to author for thrillers to get me out of a slump. And if I ever hear that someone's in a slump, I will 9 times out of 10 recommend a thriller. And most of the time, it's a Frida McFadden thriller. Okay, any super happy books you can recommend? I'm realizing that I don't read a ton of happy books. Okay, well no, I do. The endings are happy, but I feel like plot revolves around conflict or like conflict resolution. Like there has to be something. Okay, I would say romance books by Christina Lauren. I think like The Paradise Problem, The Unhoneymooners, those are super duper fun books for like just good vibes. They're happy, they're fluffier romances, they're just fun. Again, the Windy City series and the Chestnut Springs series, they have heavier topics covered in them, but as a whole I would say like they're happier, enjoyable reads. They're not like heavy by any means. I would also recommend Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. Again, heavier undertones in like disability representation and like real harder topics are covered, but her writing had me like laughing out loud, actually laughing out loud. It was really good. I liked it. Someone asked favorite classic, To Kill a Mockingbird. It was my favorite book for years until recently. It's amazing. I love that book. I got a lot of questions about annotating. I want to get into annotating. How do I start? What's the purpose of writing, underlining, highlighting in your books? All of those things. How do you decide which books to annotate? I annotate books when the writing is super poetic or I know that I'm getting a 5-star feeling. So very much every Kristen Hanna book that I read, I've annotated because it's just like powerful. It's those quotes that you read and you're like, oh my gosh, that hit. I also will annotate Ashley Poston books because her writing is just beautiful. It is poetic. I will annotate, I annotated the Magnolia Park series. I will annotate a lot of books if I ever decide to reread them, like favorite series, favorite books. Trying to think what else I've annotated. It's pretty much any time that like the writing is continually really relatable and really touching me. And in terms of like what I will actually annotate, it depends on the book. Like I just read The Women by Kristen Hanna and I had tabs about womanhood because that's like a major theme obviously in that book. I had tabs for like informational, educational, historical moments about the Vietnam War because that's the topic of the book. I had emotional tabs, so like anything that was sad or like just an emotional moment in the book I would tab. And then I also had tabs for love, like different forms of love, because that was another really strong element in the book. Sometimes I'll do tabs for like funny moments, for romantic moments, for relatable moments. There's no rhyme or reason. I think the only way you can fail at annotating is by putting too much pressure on it. Like there's no, I feel like it intimidates a lot of people because they see like these beautifully annotated books. I personally don't have like a process for it. It's just based on vibes. That was probably not super helpful at all, but that's my take on annotating. Most anticipated series to read soon. I want to finish the Boys of Tommen series. I want to read the Caravel and Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I want to read the Inheritance Game series. And then obviously continuing like the Rose Hill series. I want to continue Windy City when the next book comes out in the Windy City series. I will be continuing the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts. Oh, I also want to read the Dreamland Billionaire series and I want to read Lakefront Billionaire series. I haven't read either of those and I definitely want to. Someone asked, do you have a reading playlist? So I actually cannot listen to anything while I read. I don't know what it is about. Well, that's not true. I can listen to like smooth jazz on the TV. You know, like those like pretty backgrounds on YouTube and there's like the most delicate smooth jazz. I will read with that in the background, but if there's lyrics, my brain gets jumbled. So no, not really. I don't have a reading playlist, but I want to be a girly so bad that pops on her headphones and listens to like the dedicated playlist for the book that they're reading. There's so many playlists on Spotify for like specific books. I just can't. If there's lyrics, I'm singing. I'm not reading. Magnolia or Daisy? I'm a Magnolia girly. This is in reference to the Magnolia Parks Daisy Hates universe. I'm a Magnolia girly through and through. This is a good question. Has reading become less of an escape as it has become work? Yes. And it's something that I've worked really hard to find some sense of balance around because reading as a hobby, it just feels different than reading when you know you have to film for something or you know you have to read something to get a brand deal up or whatever it is. It puts more pressure on it. And simultaneously, I'm incredibly grateful that something I enjoy doing is also work. Do you know what I mean? Like I can sit down to read a book and be like, I'm working, which is a huge, huge privilege. And yes, it sometimes lacks the like escapism piece that I really loved about reading prior to becoming a book creator. Because as I'm reading, I'm like, oh, I have to talk about this in the vlog, or oh my gosh, I have to make notes for my wrap up, or I'm not reading fast enough, there's not gonna be enough books in my wrap up. And I think a lot of that is pressure I'm putting on myself. It's not necessarily from you guys, but it's a result of it being part of my job. Advice for people wanting to start a bookish channel. just do it honestly and just be authentic. Share your book opinions. I think where I went wrong for so long is I was timid, and if a book was like super hyped up or popular and I didn't like it, I would be like, oh no, it's okay, it was good, it was good. And now I'm like, nah, I didn't like that. Like I didn't like Fourth Wing, I didn't like A Little Life, I didn't like Akatar. And I'm okay to say that because I feel like what people want is opinion. Do you know what I mean? Like people are following you because they value your opinion, and when you actually stand for something, you have more to offer, in my opinion. And hand in hand with that, be kind. Like be welcoming, be open-minded. Like I will never yuck anyone's yum. I personally, like, for example, like the Hunting, Haunting, and Adeline series freaks me the heck out. But if you like it, you get it. Like whatever tickles your fancy. So I think creating a safe place, but also not being afraid to vocalize opinions that might be different from the majority. And then just in terms of like technicality stuff, just learn, watch creators that you admire, don't copy their stuff, but you can kind of learn like editing tactics or like styles that you really enjoy, what feels really enjoyable. Just make it authentic to you. People are going to want to follow you because of you, not because you are trying to be somebody else, if that makes sense. Top 5 book boyfriends. Oh my gosh. Reich Meadows from the Addicted Calloway sister series, Weston Belmont from Wild Eyes, Evan Zanders or Isaiah Rhodes? I'm gonna say Isaiah. So Isaiah Rhodes from Play Along. Yeah, for some reason I thought the title of that book was wrong. Theo Silva from Reckless. Part of me wants to say Jacob Maddox from Yours Truly, but he's a little too sweet for me. Like I like boys with a little bit more like rough around the edges. I think I'm gonna say Evan Zanders at 5. I know I picked 2 from the Windy City series, but man, that series is just good. It's good. A character that related closest to you recently. That's a good question. I think I'm going to say Skylar from Wild Eyes. Elsie Silver's Wild Eyes. Not because I'm a celebrity country singer, shocking, I know, but her personality and her internal struggles and a lot of the things that she was saying, I was like, wow, like I feel so seen by this character. So I think I'm gonna say that one. That book was amazing. Not only is Weston Belmont one of my top book boyfriends, but she is one of the female main characters I related closest to. Elsie Silver books are just, they're the best. I love them. How do you not feel insecure about liking spicy-ish romance books? My friends think it's weird. There is nothing weird about it. I will shout it from the rooftops. I will tell my mom. I will tell my grandma. I will tell my friends. I will tell anybody. And if they're gonna shame you for it, that is their own problem with their own relationship to sexuality. I said what I said. What are your top 5 genres to read? I don't even think I read 5 genres. Okay, I'm gonna break up some of the romance genres to give myself more leeway. I do read 5 genres. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. So I'm gonna say emotional romance, then literary fiction. No. Emotional romance, women's fiction, historical fiction, rom-coms, then thrillers. I think I'm gonna stick with that. Do you like memoirs? Any suggestions? I love memoirs. My all-time favorite is Know My Name by Chanel Miller. This book changed my life, like truly changed my life. I also really love I'm Glad My Mom Died. I really like Educated is an amazing memoir. Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I don't know if it counts as like a memoir. I kind of count it as a memoir, but that's one of my favorite books of all time. Out of Shape Worthless Loser by Gracie Gold was super interesting. There's a lot. I really love memoirs. I really, really do. I love memoirs on audio too. If you can get an audiobook version of a memoir that is read by the author, it's amazing. Hearing them tell their own story is like next level. What are your most anticipated reads or releases of 2025? Oh my gosh. I don't even know. I haven't looked that far ahead. The next book in Windy City, well, we know. The next book in the Windy City series, the next book in the Rose Hill series, Abby Jimenez's Say You'll Remember Me, I think is what it's called. Emily Henry's new book. I'm not even a huge Emily Henry fan, but I will buy and read every single new release by her. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's peer pressure or what, but I'm kind of excited for it. What else am I looking forward to? I'm hoping Catherine Center's coming out with another book. I love her writing. Hannah Bonham Young, I kind of hope she has another book coming out. Annabelle Monaghan. I don't know if any of these are actual new releases coming out. I really don't even know. But some of my favorite authors that I'm definitely like on the lookout for. When did you start your book content journey? It was actually about a year ago. I think it was like November of 2023. And I had like 300 followers on TikTok. And it just kind of went from there. I just kept posting. I kept yapping. You could not shut me up. I was like, nope, I'm gonna just keep talking about books, and here we are. If you could read only one book for the rest of your life, what would it be? The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, because I think I could get something different out of it every single time that I read it. It is that good. Oh my gosh, girl. What books would you recommend to get out of a 2-year book slump? Are you sure you just like maybe don't like reading? Girl, that's rough. I am sending you so much love and so many thoughts. Delilah's worried about you too. Try the Windy City series or Chestnut Springs. I kind of already answered this earlier. Or try a different genre. Try thrillers, try historical fiction. Spice it up, girlfriend. What do we have to lose at this point? Also try different formats. Maybe try audiobooks. Those could maybe help. What is a good banter book? Anything Hannah Bonham Young, Out on a Limb is phenomenal. Also, anything Abby Jimenez, truly, like her books are laugh out loud, funny, and also emotional. The best banter. I love Abby's banter. What book makes you feel like you're lost in their world? I would say the Addicted Calloway Sister series, which is one of my favorite series of all time. If you follow me, you know that. But you just kind of feel like you are a millionaire in Philly living with them. They feel like family. You feel like you're just a part of their world. It's amazing. I would also say the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts. It is a romance fantasy series, but it was really easy to like be in their world and feel completely consumed by it. Since it's a fantasy world, you're like out of the real world a little bit more, kind of out of your head. It was really easy for me to just like feel like I was there with the characters. What book got you fully into reading? I credit Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine for starting my adult reading journey, and then It Ends With Us. It did it for me. That is where I was like, okay, I cannot stop reading. I finished that book in one sitting, and then I finished Ugly Love in one sitting, and then I read Reminders of Him in one sitting, and I was like, I'm eating this up. And then I expanded my horizons outside of Colleen Hoover, and I never stopped. I just never stopped reading. What is your favorite genre? Romance. I'm a hopeless romantic girl through and through. What did you think of The Women? I just finished The Women. It was a 5-star read for me. It is my Patreon book club's book of the month. So if you're in the Patreon, we will be discussing this quite literally in our live video call. It was amazing. I loved it. Favorite fantasy. I was just talking about this yesterday. I think I would say Powerless by Lauren Roberts or Divine Rivals. I think those two. I also really like the Shatter Me series, but it took me until like book 3 to get into those, so I don't know if that's necessarily like a fair recommendation. Powerless I really, really enjoyed, and also Divine Rivals. What are your Kindle case or accessory recommendations? I love just a clear Kindle case, honestly, because then I can put stickers on it. There's also a ton of really cute ones on Etsy, and I love like shopping small. And then for accessories, I recently discovered Kindle charms, which like you stick them in the little charging port, and they're just like charms. Like think of like phone charms, like beaded. They're so cute. They're so, so cute. I think I have Kindle accessories linked on my Like to Know It, which I believe is in the description box. I think I have that down there. I hope that helps. What Christmas books are you excited to read? I'm actually planning to do a full Christmas TBR video if we make it that far, if I have the motivation, because there's a full shelf of Christmas books that I need to get to. I'm pretty excited actually for some of them. I think the Christmas Orphans Club I'm excited for, and there's, what is it, The Holiday Wish, which I've heard good things about. I think The Holiday Wish is a new release this year. 3 female main characters you relate to the most. So Skylar Stone from Wild Eyes. I would say Winter from Reckless in the Chestnut Springs series, because she's like just a little bit short-tempered when she's overstimulated, but like deep down, she's a sensitive little gal. I really like her. I would also say Stevie from Mile High in the Windy City series, her struggles with body image and how it impacted her romantic relationships and like intimate relationships. I just really resonated with her a lot. Books that are close to your heart, as in the ones that make you feel comforted and happy anytime. I think this is a good question to close out on. I'm gonna say the Addicted Calloway Sisters series because they feel like family. I'm going to say Reckless, which I just talked about, and Wild Eyes. I'm gonna say The Collected Regrets of Clover is a really comforting read. Magnolia Park's Into the Dark is a very sad read, but very comforting for me. The Nightingale is incredibly close to my heart. There's a lot. There's really a lot. I just love books. I really love books. All right, besties, I think those are all of the questions I'm going to get to today. I don't even know how long I've been talking for at this point. So we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for asking me questions. If you participated, again, go follow my Instagram so you don't miss future interactions like this, where I'm always posting things on my story for you to engage with. And make sure you're subscribed here also so you don't miss any future videos. I have some fun ones coming up for the end of the year that I'm really excited to get out. And yeah, I think we can leave it here for today. Thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, book besties.